Next, it's time for Truth or Fake, our daily fact-checking segment in association with France 24 Observers. Joining us on set is James Creedon. Welcome, James.
Hi, Brian.
Today, you're looking at tensions taking place last Saturday when a Freedom Convoy of truckers converged on Paris, attempting to block the Champs-Élysées.
That's right. So if your Saturday afternoon, late afternoon was meant, to be wandering around central Paris, you might have had a few impediments. And the truckers, indeed, they did try to converge on the Champs-Élysées. And there were scenes of a confrontation and tension around the Champs-Élysées last Saturday afternoon. Now, in the midst of all of that, and indeed there were scenes of, tanks on the street on the Champs-Élysées that went viral online. People sort of thinking, wow, this is pretty tense stuff if you have tanks on the streets of Paris to deal with this particular protest. Now, just to show you two videos that got quite a lot of traction. This one here, over 53,000 views on social media. And what you see is a police officer at a certain point becoming particularly aggressive. There it is. And scenes such as that were being linked with the hashtag Manif, or protest, 12 February, the 12th February protest. Police using unbelievable violence, except actually if you do a reverse image search on that particular video, it takes you back to 2019 in the context of the yellow vest protests. Right. Does that mean that policeman was behaving himself well? No. But it wasn't right now. And so it's more a case of, the timing of that video being actually misleading. This one is another video that has been shared over the last couple of days on social media, and that shows a police officer kicking a protester who's down on the ground, down on the pavement. Now, as one of our journalists going through these videos was keen to point out, the reverse image search tool using InVid or various other suite of tools is a very obvious way to take you back to the origins of those sort of tweets, or the first time they were shared. And again, this one was in 2019. But also, if you just take a look at these images, no one's wearing masks. Now, do people who attend trucker convoy protests wear masks, even if you don't have to wear a mask anymore? But some people do wear a mask in public. Probably not. So does it indicate anything? Maybe not. But clues,
you probably see a few, maybe.
You might see one or two cautiously anti-system people.
Maybe on the chin.
There you go. So in any case, there are indications, and the most obvious one being when you trace it back to 2019, that this is not what it appears to be or what it claims to be. Mm-hmm. There you go.
All right. Well, there were some real clashes, in fact, and evidence of those have also been circulating, have they not?
That's right. So just to show you some of the images that are actually authentic, this was a shop, or a cafe rather, on the Champs-Élysées where a tear gas canister appears to have been smashed through the window pane of a shop, and a whole load of people sitting at that cafe terrace ended up fleeing. So these are the sort of scenes that were circulating on social media. I'll show you another one here. This was a clash where yes, this actually did happen, right? These scenes were from Saturday afternoon. This one got almost 1 million views on social media, and there, I think clearly police officers were going beyond the permitted techniques to keep crowds under control. They were kicking protesters who were down. And this is another image that didn't get quite as much traction in this particular share, just 19 views, but I saw this shared multiple times, and this particular police officer smashes the window pane of that car, probably also not allowed. So in the context of those videos doing the rounds of social media, where there were real clashes, where there were tanks on the Champs-Élysées, it makes it all the more possible and likely to fall into the trap of seeing a whole lot of other videos, well, two in this case, that are actually from 2019. So what you could end up having is a lot of truth in the images circulating, but an exaggerated sense of how bad it was when you see multiple videos, some of which aren't true. So there you go. That's a case of where there's a grain of truth, you can end up having a lot more likelihood of falling into the trap of fake videos.
Indeed, no shortage of material to work with from back in the yellow vest days, you must say.
That's right. And indeed, the UN criticised, the UN Special Representative for Human Rights criticised the French police at the time for heavy-handed tactics, and there were hundreds of cases reported of police violence at that time. So that memory is also fresh.
Indeed. Well, thank you, James, for that very informative and educational segment.